Pint of better later on.
Sounds great.
Yeah?
Oh, Charlie, look, I've been trying to get that patient's message through to the chaplain.
Michael, something foreign.
Yeah, well, it's very odd because the telephone number he gave me doesn't seem to exist, nor the address.
Well, we didn't dream him up. Try the rota.
Yeah, he's not even on it.
Well, keep on trying. That kid needs all the help she can get.
I wouldn't worry about it, Jane. I think he probably knows already.
Casualty opens its doors again on New Year's Day at 8:25 here on BBC1.
John Cleese, Michael Palin, Kevin Kline, Jamie Lee Curtis, some diamonds and a red herring.
Hello, Wanda.
Boxing Day Monday at 9:25 on BBC1.
If you want to win a chance to meet Mr. Blobby, you've got to be watching all of the house party on New Year's Day, and you could be a winner with the big pink one.
The party begins at 6:55 on BBC1.
Everything you've ever heard about the story of Cinderella is turned on its head on BBC 2 in 5 minutes in the first of a series exploring the 7 deadly sins.
Christmas in the Algarve, being shadowed by a furtive Peter Cook and relaxing in luxury accommodation. What more could Victor ask for?
I'm hardly likely to take £3.47 for an aftershave that makes me smell like a donkey, am I?
One foot in the Algarve in 15 minutes on BBC1.
And that's after the news on BBC1 with Chris Lowe. It's 10 to 9.
The 27 Jamaicans deported from Britain have arrived home furious at the way they were treated. They claim they were subjected to a humiliating ordeal quite without justification. But the Home Office says that's nonsense. Every effort was made to make them comfortable. And in southern Russia, armed kidnappers have released all their hostages and escaped with $10 million. Good evening. 27 Jamaicans deported from Britain have arrived home saying they were badly treated by the British. They're considering legal action over their detention. They claim they were accused of being gangsters, and one said he'd been forced to sleep on a concrete floor. The row over the deportations has intensified throughout the day. The union leader Bill Morris has accused the government of a Christmas of shame, saying the detainees were bundled out under cover of darkness.
The Boeing 757, chartered specially by the Home Office to take the expelled Jamaicans home, arrived at Kingston Airport in the early hours. It had left Gatwick on Christmas night in conditions of secrecy. Camera crews were prevented from recording it leaving. 27 Jamaicans, mostly young men, had been thrown out of Britain after arriving on Tuesday. The British authorities were apparently convinced they'd overstay their intended Christmas holiday visits. There'd also been talk of Yardie gangster links. Crowding into the terminal, speaking in local patois, several of the young men protested loudly, reacting here to suggestions that they'd try to remain in Britain. Especially resented were suggestions that they had Yardie links.
They said, we Jamaicans are gangster, and we kill police in England, yeah. So they don't want to accept with their country.
With gang them.
They say
And there were many complaints about the detentions and expulsions.
I feel bad. I cry. I feel very bad, truly.
And they handcuff us, and they put us in jail, right? The cell that they put us in is just a concrete bed, and they just throw down a blanket, give us. Concrete, it's a concrete thing, it's a concrete thing, right?
Well, I don't feel good to know that my niece spend so much money for me and my daughter, and we reach so far and don't enjoy it.
The expulsions have caused indignation on the Commonwealth Island, and protests have continued in Britain.
It's about fairness, it's about justice, it's about how visitors to this country are treated. It's about international law and it's about international behavior. I believe that the treatment of these 27 has fell well short of the normal standards of humanity and dignity.
Peter Hunnigan, in the black jacket, strolling in the London chill, was saved from deportation only by a desperate Christmas High Court move by his solicitor.
They treat you like very bad, like I committed a crime. And I don't think that is very nice.
The Home Office tonight refuted allegations that the detainees were ill-treated, saying they'd done their best to make conditions comfortable. Laurie Margolis, BBC News.
Gunmen in southern Russia who kidnapped a group of school children and adults last Thursday have released their last 2 hostages and are now on the run. The kidnappers, on board a hijacked helicopter, took off this afternoon from the town of Mineral Vody. They later abandoned the helicopter and its 2 pilots. It's thought the gunmen got away with $10 million ransom money.
This 4-day hostage crisis reached its climax tonight when the kidnappers threatened to open fire on security forces close to their helicopter unless they were allowed to take off. They were given permission to do so, and an hour and a half later they landed the aircraft in remote Russian countryside, making their escape on foot. Before taking off today, the kidnappers released a bus driver they'd taken hostage and 2 teenage boys, the last of the school children they seized from a classroom on Thursday. All the hostages said they'd been relatively well treated, the kidnappers even playing cards with them. But throughout this long drama, the gunmen threatened to blow up their helicopter if attacked. They'd packed it with high explosives. From a van near the aircraft, the chief government mediator, Valentina Petrenko, kept in virtually constant contact with the kidnappers, and she's being praised for her calm negotiating style. Day by day, she persuaded the gunmen to release more of their teenage hostages. But it's become clear the gunmen had planned this operation with great precision. When their $10 million ransom money arrived, for example, they even had equipment with them to make sure the cash was not forged. Tonight on Russian television, a government minister, Oleg Saskov-Yets, said now that the children had been freed, decisive action would be taken to catch the kidnappers. But it appears they may have outmaneuvered the authorities. A plane carrying most of the released hostages has taken them back to their hometown today to be reunited with their families. Tonight, the men who took these children hostage are being hunted by troops. But if they escape, it will have been one of the world's most audacious and cleverly executed kidnappings. Ben Brown, BBC News, Moscow.
Here, the Health Secretary, Virginia Bottomley, has described as deplorable the incidence of children being left alone at home over Christmas. Today, a 4th case emerged. A 9-year-old Leeds girl was placed with foster parents after being found abandoned at her home on Christmas Day. Her father has been questioned and released on police bail.
These gifts, donated by police and public in Leeds, have now brought joy to 4 children for whom Christmas would have had little meaning. The 9-year-old girl was abandoned in the Scott Hall area of Leeds without food while her father went drinking. Now she's been placed with foster parents and has been given a selection of the toys which have been collected for the 3 Leeds children found alone at home on Christmas Eve.
What we're dealing with here is the action of irresponsible parents. And therefore it's very difficult to legislate in a way that can prevent this happening.
In this Brighton street, a 2-year-old boy was found alone in a filthy room wearing just a T-shirt. His father's been charged with cruelty. The Health Secretary, Virginia Bottomley, has said the treatment of these children has been deplorable.
And it's important, I think, for friends, for neighbours, for family, to offer the helping hand when things are going wrong, and certainly to draw attention when children may be at risk. That's happened in this case. What we want is communities working together to give a helping hand to parents who are going through tough times right through the year.
The NSPCC has called for clarification of the law, saying no child under 13 should be left alone. Roger Currell, BBC News.
A Downing Street spokesman has described as a purely personal matter the admission by the Environment Minister Tim Yeo that he fathered a child as the result of an affair. Mr Yeo issued a statement through his solicitors confirming that he is the father of a 5-month-old daughter by a Conservative councillor. He said he'd notified government colleagues of the situation following continuing press intrusion. The latest ceasefire in Bosnia's civil war, which was supposed to start last Wednesday, is still being ignored by all three sides. Serb artillery fire cut electricity supplies to the capital Sarajevo, and as a result, the water supply to most of the city has also been drastically reduced. Voters in several areas in Serbia went back to the polls today for the second Sunday running. They were voting again at over 40 polling stations where irregularities were reported in the parliamentary elections. The Socialists, led by President Milosevic, are just 3 seats short of a majority in the new parliament. The PLO leader Yasser Arafat has been in Egypt at the start of a new attempt to break the deadlock in the peace agreement with Israel. Palestinian and Israeli negotiators will hold talks in Cairo tomorrow to try to sort out differences over withdrawing Israeli troops from Gaza and Jericho.
The PLO leader is in Cairo because he sees Egypt as an important ally in his efforts to squeeze maximum concessions from the Israelis. President Mubarak is a firm supporter of the agreement signed last September, and with continuing disputes he's keen to help in any way he can. One concession came from the Israeli cabinet, which agreed to offer the Palestinians more land around the West Bank town of Jericho, but that's unlikely to satisfy the PLO. More problematic is the issue of the border crossings that will link the Jericho enclave to Jordan and the Gaza Strip to Egypt. Israeli cabinet members are looking for the Palestinians to make the first move.
We are definitely determined about guaranteeing our security and our existence, and I hope that the Palestinians very soon will find the proper formula how to do in order to fit within this principle.
PLO leader Yasser Arafat says he hopes for positive answers from Israel when the talks resume in Cairo tomorrow night. Peter Dobby, BBC News.
China's leaders attended celebrations in Beijing today in honour of Chairman Mao, born 100 years ago. They praised his role as the revolutionary commander who founded the communist state, but they were trying to distance themselves from the mistakes he'd made as Chinese supreme leader.
Today's centenary celebrations of the Red Emperor were carefully stage-managed by leadership using the occasion to shore up its own credibility. 10,000 people, including top officials and Mao's descendants, gathered inside the Great Hall of the People for a nationally televised rally. The centrepiece was an hour-long speech by China's president in praise of what he called a great patriot and national hero. But in the last 15 years, Mao's socialist superstate has been systematically undone by Deng Xiaoping, China's paramount leader and Mao's political heir. Generous eulogizing was reserved for Deng. He was praised for improving on the best of Chairman Mao's policies and righting his mistakes. In a country where history has been constantly revised, this ambiguous celebration of Mao was powerfully endorsed by the leadership. Christopher Gunnis, BBC News, Hong Kong.
Football, and this afternoon Blackburn Rovers came within 2 minutes of beating the runaway leaders of the Premiership, Manchester United. 40,000 fans packed Old Trafford to see England's top team take on another of the league's richest clubs. Blackburn took the lead with a cool finish by Kevin Gallagher. Some seasonal cheer for Kenny Dalglish, but United have made something of a habit of coming back from behind. With time running out, even goalkeeper Peter Schmeichel joined the action. But it was Paul Ince who scored the equaliser, much to the relief of Alex Ferguson. That leaves Manchester United 13 points clear as they go into 1994, with the chasing pack failing to make any headway. More than 100 ferry passengers have arrived back in Britain 32 hours late after spending Christmas Day stranded on board in a French port. They were returning on Christmas Eve from a shopping trip to the Spanish port of Santander, but the ferry was forced to dock at Lorient on the French coast because of bad weather. They eventually reached Plymouth early this morning.
The Bretagne finally docked in Plymouth at 25 to 1 this morning. Many of the 111 passengers were returning from a mini-cruise to Santander in Spain that had turned into an unscheduled Christmas break. The relatives at the terminal to collect them had spent most of their Christmas on the motorway, as the predicted time of the Bretagne's arrival changed 5 times over 2 days. There were some complaints that Brittany Ferries hadn't given out enough information to passengers.
I mean, nobody knew anything that was going on, actually. I mean, if we'd have known a little bit more, I think people would have been a little bit more happy, but unfortunately, nobody was told anything.
But most said they'd had a better time on board than they would have done at home.
They treated everyone ever so well. They had 5-star dinners, and they all had bottles of whiskey each and free drinks in the bar.
They put on a party. It was absolutely excellent. Couldn't ask for more. Drank quite a bit, really, you know what I mean?
Brittany Ferries says it isn't obliged to compensate passengers for travel affected by weather, but in this case will consider making an exception. Alison Chitty, BBC News, Plymouth.
And that's all from the BBC Newsroom tonight. Good night.
Good evening. I hope you've had an enjoyable Christmas weekend, but it will remain cold and frosty for tonight and again tomorrow. At the current time, we have an area of high pressure centred over the country, giving dry and relatively cold weather. But we do have this front over the extreme west, and that's already brought some rain, sleet and also snow to parts of Northern Ireland and Western Scotland, and will continue to do so for the rest of tonight. And we may even see a little bit of rain and sleet coming into the southwestern part of England and South Wales. Also, a further scattering of sleet and snow showers in the extreme east of the country, but elsewhere dry and clear, but becoming misty in parts of the Midlands and Scotland, with a few freezing fog patches by tomorrow morning. Already very cold over much of the country with a frost, and by the end of the night it will be even colder, with temperatures generally -3 to -6. Now with that frost we can also expect icy patches on roads, so that will give bad driving conditions in many areas. Tomorrow we'll have that front still over the western part of the country, mainly as a band of cloud, but 1 or 2 sleet or snow showers scattered around in the extreme west, with still a scattering of sleet or snow showers in the extreme east. In between dry and bright, and for many areas in the afternoon it will become brighter and drier, but everywhere having a bitterly cold day. And that's it. Good night.
Boxing Day Monday on BBC1 at 6:25, Aladdin Jim conjures up some fairy tale faces, some with feathers, in a big break pantomime party. And at 7, trouble down south for Ian McShane with an old friend from Dallas.
What's my little sister been telling you?
About what? Then at 8:35, Close Encounters.
Oh yes. Aliens, is it?
Are you totally deranged?
A whiff of dangerous comedy at 9:25. As John Cleese heads an all-star cast in A Fish Called Wanda.
Don't call me stupid.
Then at 11:10 in a special concert of hope recorded on World AIDS Day, George Michael tops the bill at Wembley Arena. Boxing Day Monday on BBC1.
Interested in producing something of mine.
Your first child.
Comic drama with Woody Allen and Mia Farrow in Crimes and Misdemeanours on BBC2 shortly. Clint Eastwood directs and stars in the film at 10:40 tonight on BBC1 as peaceful farmer Josey Wales, who sets out on a journey of revenge. What is it that makes Victor Meldrew so popular? Could it be his sparkling conversation, his sunny disposition, or could it be his animal magnetism?
Editor's office, please. Well, tell him it's Martin Trout, then he may not be quite so busy. Hello? Yeah, I got it. Yeah, the lot, the works. Him and her together, yeah. No, by the pool at her place in the country. Yeah. Tongues in a reef knot. Yeah, at one point there's his tongue and nose. Yes. Look, this is thermonuclear. Profumo doesn't come into it. My battery's going a bit low, so I'll give you a buzz back when I get to Victoria. Okay? Bye. Sorry about this. Please? No, it must be in there somewhere. Anyway, you well? Yeah, I must have slipped through a hole in the line. Yeah, cheer up. I just had myself 100,000 quid. Give me 80. 80 nothing. You agreed 100 sight unseen. 100 if the story checked out. Don't mess me around, John. Look, I am holding in my hand a little stick of dynamite that will blow this country apart. Look, if you're not interested, I have a little phone number in Wapping. I'm sure they... Yes, that's your life.
Hello! Can you put me through to your customer complaint department, please?
Right away and be over to you. Yeah, on your desk in...
Relations department.
Sorry, I couldn't quite...
No, I don't want personal. I want to talk to someone. I want to complain about one of your products.
I could come to you directly or...
Yes, yes, there is now.
Hang on a second.
Hello? Yes, they were. 55 bloody pounds they cost me. 55. Put them on brand new this morning to go on holiday, and what happens? I'll show you what bloody well happens. You hear that? You hear that? They're walking about with a dead halibut stuck to your foot. I've never in all my life known such shoddy bloody work.
Oi, you! Superman's granddad. I can't hear myself think with you shrieking about like a rutting gibbon.
Shrieking like a... Who the hell's shrieking?
Who's shrieking? A hand grenade could go off in your mouth and no one would hear it. For God's sake, show some consideration for the rest of the human race and shut your bleeding trap.
Are you quite finished?
No. Your socks are too loud as well. Here I am, trying to make an important phone call. Oi! Can't you see this booth is occupied? You're trying to access my Mercury facility and use my...
There was no one here. What was I supposed to... Oh!
Hello. Hello, are you still there? Yes, well, I can tell you now you haven't heard the end of this. Who are you phoning anyway?
Oh, it doesn't matter. I forgot to cancel the Sunday papers, that's all.
Margaret! Mr. Meldrew! We're going to miss it!
Yes! Coming!
Some of them cancel the Sunday papers. The sort of crap they keep filling them with. They're relieved to get away from it for a couple of weeks. Yeah, sorry about that. Some goon shooting his mouth off 9 to the dozen. Now, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, if I bring the roll of film round to you...